Creators are making millions of dollars every single month doing OnlyFans, while you're stuck working a job that you hate. So why should you miss out on a few easy millions? Exactly, you shouldn't. But what you should do is know exactly what you're getting into before starting an OnlyFans. Let me show you. The first thing you need to know before getting into OnlyFans is that everything you see online is faked. The publicity is faked, the beefs are faked, the money they make is faked, their lifestyles are faked, even entire personalities are faked. But you need to realize this is the media business. It's the same with celebrities, it's the same with Hollywood, it's the same with YouTubers in 2016 making diss tracks about each other. It's all orchestrated, it's all planned to get engagement and views. But it works really, really well. Every big creator does it. And look, if you've been trying to get into OnlyFans, I'm sure you found a few creators that you like watching. I'm willing to bet that those creators either have some beef with someone going on, they've got a drama going on, they've got some publicity stunt going, or they flex their lifestyle a lot. It just works. It's a really, really good engagement strategy. But the more time you spend in the industry, and creators and agencies will agree with me on this, the more time you spend in the industry, you'll notice how often things are faked for attention. The downside of all of this is that these creators that are faking this lifestyle and faking how much money they make are setting really bad expectations for the creators trying to get into the scene, thinking that's what they should be doing. And I know for a fact that these creators are doing this because I've seen it personally. I've been on creators' accounts firsthand, creators that have millions and millions of followers, but they're only making 5K a month. But I can show you an account right now of a creator who has 0 social media following, but she's making 50K a month. And that's the thing. There is so much that goes on behind the scenes with OnlyFans. There's so much that people don't know. And I've noticed from my experience, the creators that you don't think are making a lot of money are the ones raking it in, which kind of leads me to my next point. The statistics. How much money are creators actually making on OnlyFans? Well, the stats show us that only a small percentage of creators make real money. And while a lot of the data isn't public, what we do know is around 75% of all the money made on OnlyFans is made by just 10% of the creators. And if you want to be making crazy money, you need to be in the upper echelon of all creators. I'm talking top 1%. If you're in the top 1% of all creators, you're making around $20,000 a month, which is great money, but you're competing with 7 million other creators. You need to be in the top 1% out of 7 million people. It's a lot of competition, right? But everyone thinks that OnlyFans is this loophole to making millions of dollars. You just put a link in your bio, post a few photos, and bang, all of a sudden you're a millionaire. But it's not the case. It can't be the case because the stats show us that the average OnlyFans creator only makes $185 a month. That's not enough for groceries. That's not enough for petrol. That's nothing. So the average creator, most people that get onto OnlyFans only make this much. That's the reality of starting an OnlyFans. If you want to make crazy money on the platform, you need to be in the top 1, top 2, top 3% of creators. Top 2% of creators make around 10K a month. So you need to be literally in the topmost percentage of all of the creators, of 7 million creators to make real money. Otherwise, that's the average. That's the reality for most people. The next one's a bit of a hard one. If you want to succeed on OnlyFans, people are going to find out. Your friends, your family, whoever it may be, yes, even the exact person you're thinking of right now. They're going to find out. That's just the harsh truth. If you want to make real money on OnlyFans, people are going to find out. But you need to ask yourself this question. Do I want to make average money or do I want to make crazy money? Life-changing money, the same money that you see the world's biggest creators making. If that's the case, if you want to make crazy money, you need to be okay with people finding out. With a weird family friend sending it to your parents or some friend of a friend sending it around friend groups. It's going to happen. Because unfortunately, if you want to make crazy money, you need to be promoting yourself and your OnlyFans to as many people as possible. And that involves posting on TikTok, on Instagram, multiple times per day, every day, building a brand, building a following. That's the only way to do it. And if you're putting content out there and it's succeeding, if you're doing things right, everyone's going to see it. People are going to see it. And one of those people will be someone you know or someone that you know knows, whatever. But when you make crazy amounts of money, it'll all be worth it. Those people mean absolutely nothing. They're nobody. And if you make crazy amounts of money, at the end of the day, their noise, their talking, their rumors is all going to be worth it because you're going to be loaded, right? But the question is, can I do anything to hide it? Can I have an alias or that kind of thing? And ultimately, having a fake name is about the best you can do while still making crazy money. But no one really cares about the name. It's when they see your face and they know you, right? But if you have a fake name, that might help you a little bit. But the thing is, think about like Lana Rhoades or Riley Reid. We all know those names, but it doesn't really matter that it's a fake name because we've seen what they've done, right? So if you can use a fake name, that's fine. But the only way to fully hide is by using a fake name and going faceless. But the thing is, faceless creators make average money. Very, very, very rarely do faceless creators make crazy amounts of money. It can happen, but it's very rare. So if we want to make sure we're making crazy money, You need to just be willing to have people find out. Now, arguably the hardest part about OnlyFans is getting the subscribers. So it's important to know what it actually takes to get them, because when you see creators, again, it comes back to what you see and just what your perception of OnlyFans is. But when you see these creators that are just posting a few photos, a few videos a week, and they get millions of views and they're doing really well, you think, okay, cool, that's what I've got to do. I'll just post 2 or 3 times a week. I'll throw a few things out there. I don't know, there's no strategy or system behind it. I have no aim or target with my content, but I'm just going to make something and throw it out there, and hopefully it works like these other creators do. It doesn't work like that. If you're just throwing out these Hail Mary content pieces 2 to 3 times a week without any clear direction or system or even purpose behind the videos, they're not going to succeed. Having these Hail Mary posts get you nowhere. Having a system that actually brings in subscribers is what's needed, which is why the world's biggest creators spend 20 to 30 hours every single week, even more every single week, to create content. For example, Ari, I say this all the time, Ari works 40 hours a week creating content. She posts multiple times a day, every single day, on multiple accounts, because she's working 40 hours a week. But that's what success is. The creators that are doing really, really well are working this much. They're not just throwing a random post out there. They're not just copying someone else and just hoping it sticks, posting 2 to 3 times a week with no attention to detail. The creators that are succeeding know what works for them. They've built a system around what works, and they have direction with their content. There's a target for who they're targeting, what audience, what's performed well for me in the past, how can I make an iteration on that and know it's going to go viral again because it has before. There's systems, and they work for it. They work plenty of hours a week for it. But I know it's hard to see that and not know what's gone into it, because you see the end result. You don't see the years and years and years of this creator posting every single day consistently without getting results. You see the end when they're famous and they don't even really need to put effort in anymore. They've built the brand and it just works for them. But that's ultimately the goal for you. But the hard part is you don't see what went in. You don't see the work from the beginning. But the fact that a creator can come on, hopefully this can be you, but the fact that a creator can come on and work hours every single week, posting every single day, looking at what's worked for them, looking at the data and making changes and improving on their own content, and posting consistently through times where views are low and subs are low, is a skill on its own. If you can push through the hard times and know that if you're consistent, you'll succeed in the end, that is a skill on its own. But that is what's needed. If you want to make, like I said, crazy money, you need to be willing to push through the hard times and be consistent despite views and subs being low. Because that's what it takes. That's what all the biggest creators have done. They've pushed through the hard times and eventually, years later, built a strong enough brand where they don't need to put as much effort in anymore. Now, when choosing what method to use to get subscribers, just choose one method and stick with it. It's so easy to get distracted in this industry. There's always new things and fancy methods popping up all over the place, but just trust me, choose one and get really, really good at it. Creators and agencies both do this all the time. You see someone doing really well on Reddit, okay, cool, I'm gonna make a Reddit account, I'm gonna start posting on there. Oh, but my friend said she's doing really well on Twitter now, okay, Reddit's not really working, I'm gonna go over to Twitter. Oh, but this creator does so well on Instagram, I'm gonna go on Instagram. Oh, now I'm gonna do Threads. All of a sudden, you've got a dead Threads account, you've got a dead Reddit account, a dead Twitter account, a dead Instagram account, and nothing to show for any of your effort. You just end up at square one. The best thing you can do is choose one method, whatever it may be, and stick to it. Master it. Learn everything you can about that platform and get really good at it, and don't waste your time on any of the others. Of course, like with any platform or any method, there's going to be slow periods. You're going to have low views, you're going to have a low amount of followers, but slowly, as you get more, they will compound, you'll get more followers, you get more views, and suddenly you've got a big account and you've got a working traffic method because you spent all the time and the effort to master just one. You know everything about Reddit, or you know everything about Instagram, you know everything about Twitter, and you stick to that. You put all your time and effort into that, and it does really well for you. As opposed to getting shiny object syndrome and seeing something new and fancy, and this girl's doing that, and this guy said this, and this agency said that, and I'm gonna bounce across to all of them and get 2 subscribers from each one, and all of a sudden I've got nothing to show for it, right? Shiny object syndrome kills so many people in business, not just OnlyFans, in business as a whole. And if you can avoid that, especially in an industry like this where it's so social media based, you're gonna be winning. You're gonna be ahead of so many creators just by focusing on the one method. Now, when it comes to what method to choose, I'm gonna let you decide that. But if you've seen any of my other videos, you would know which one that is. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you are, it really helps me out if you left a like. That way I know I'm doing things right. But if I'm not, if you have feedback, changes, questions, anything you want to let me know, Leaving me a comment is the best way to do that. Any changes that you want me to make, I will make. I want to make improvements. I want to improve the content so I can give you guys better value. So any feedback that you've got, please let me know in the comments. Thanks. Something that a lot of creators don't realize before getting into OnlyFans is how demanding the chatting side is, talking to the fans, selling to the fans. It's by far the most demanding part, and it can really scale to what you want, but the more time and effort you put into it, the more money you're going to make. But the thing is, it is very, very draining. Think about it. You have to be sitting there for hours and hours and hours talking to people constantly, having conversations, getting to know them, building rapport, finding common interests, whatever, and then selling them, using sales tactics, putting up with negotiating, putting up with them objecting to X, Y, and Z and having problems and all of this constant headache. It's draining. Chatting is very draining, but it is so worth it. It's where all of your money comes from. And if you can do things right in the chats, you can make 5 times, 10 times, 50 times more money. And simple changes like charging more for your content, spending a little more time getting to know each fan, using particular strategies that are unique to you as opposed to copying what other creators are doing and over-sexualizing your content. There's so many small changes you can make to better the chatting, but you need to understand at a foundational level how draining and time-consuming it is. But of course, that can be outsourced to teams. For example, the majority of our creators have 24-hour coverage. So there's a team, a sales team trained to chat on their account 24/7, all day, every day. But if you're a solo creator getting into OnlyFans and you don't have a team that does that, imagine how much work it would take to even compete with something like that. I would always recommend, if you're just getting into it, chatting for about 4 hours a day. But imagine chatting 4 hours a day, 7 days a week. It can get draining. But once you start growing things, you can start building a team. But it's important to know that it's super, super important to go the extra mile in the chats, because that's where you're going to make so much money. But yes, it is draining. It is very time consuming. While we're on the topic of chatting, I want to talk about bans. It's very easy to get bans on OnlyFans in the chats. And if you get banned on OnlyFans, 9 times out of 10, they ban your ID. It's not just the account. It's not just, you don't just get restricted or suspended. They ban your actual ID, which means you can't make a new account. You can't make a backup account. You can't try again. You have to move to the other platforms like Fansly or Fanview or ManyVids, but they're shit. You don't even want to be on them anyway. No one converts over there. You want to be on OnlyFans and only OnlyFans. But if you get banned, you're fucked. So the way bans occur is by saying certain things in the chat, like talking about meeting up, talking about taking anything off platform, so accepting money off platform, which is a very big one. If a fan is offering to message you on Snapchat and send you money on there, you can get banned for that, because OnlyFans doesn't want their money to go somewhere else. They want their cut. And if you're soliciting people to leave OnlyFans and send you money directly, they will ban you for that. But not just bans. If you're going to be doing things in the chats that's misleading or upsetting to the fans, like if you say, oh, I'm going to be doing this in this video, trust me, pay $200 for it because you're going to see everything you want, and then they buy it and it's not something that you said, you lied to them, they have the option to go to the support and charge back. Which means if they're not happy with the video or they feel like they've been ripped off, I mean, really, they can make up any reason, and people do. Whether the reason is valid or not, they can go to support and get a chargeback, which means the content that you sold, they still got to see it, they still got to download it, save it, whatever they want, but they get their money back and it comes out of your pocket. So if a fan reports what you've said and they get a chargeback, you lose the money. It comes out of your pocket, and that goes on your record. The fact that you've gotten a chargeback will go on your record, and if you get a lot of those. Next, I want to talk about what sort of content we're actually selling in the chats. I get on calls with creators all the time that are just starting out or looking to get into OnlyFans, and they just want to start by dipping their toes in. And what I mean by that is they want to do vanilla content. Vanilla content is non-explicit or non-full nude content. It's usually just non-explicit below the waist and nudity above the waist. But for some creators, it's fully non-nude. So they're wearing bikinis and that kind of stuff, not showing anything at all. The issue with vanilla is that unless you're Kim Kardashian or Bella Thorne or Lil Tay or Danielle Bregoli that has a massive following external from OnlyFans, you haven't built it for the purpose of OnlyFans, you're famous for another reason, and then you're monetizing that. If you're not someone that has a huge following like that, you can't monetize it properly. There's no value exchange there. Unless you have millions and millions of followers that are going to subscribe and you make crazy money from subscription prices only, you're never going to make real money selling vanilla content, especially if you don't have this huge following. It's really the only way that it works. And unfortunately, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone starting out. You can have boundaries, of course, limit yourself into what you're comfortable with, but vanilla itself, being non-explicit, is way too hard to succeed with. Of course, set your boundaries with what you're comfortable with and what you're gonna make, but vanilla is too hard to succeed unless you're literally a celebrity already. A really important thing to know before getting into OnlyFans is that it's 24/7. It doesn't turn off. OnlyFans and social media. And I don't just mean there's 24/7 sales coming in or you're getting 24/7 followers and views, which is obviously a great thing, but there's a lot of negatives to it as well. At all hours of the day, any time of the night, there's going to be a fan on your account saying something that's pissing you off, or you're going to be getting hate comments throughout the day, or you're getting rude DMs 24/7. Even when you think you can have a break and have a weekend and relax, it is constantly going. There's always people in your ear saying certain things. There's dramas happening. There's something going wrong in the chats, or you've got them restricted on your Instagram and now you have to fix all this sort of stuff, or your Twitter account's been banned, or stuff is constantly going on. It never sleeps. That's why us as an agency, we work 7 days a week. Our chatters are 24/7. Us, even as the founders, we work 7 days a week constantly because we can't stop. In an industry like this where social media doesn't turn off, OnlyFans and fans don't turn off, porn and horny guys don't turn off. They're always around. They're always wanting something and they're always hassling. This industry, you can't just clock out. There's no clocking out. There's always comments, there's always dramas, there's always restrictions, there's always someone haggling you or annoying you. There's always some kind of problem that needs to be fixed, which is why a team can always help with that sort of thing. But again, for us, we're working 24/7. We're always around to fix these issues, but they still leak through. If you're a creator, you need to understand that you can't clock out. This job is 24/7. But of course, you get all the benefits of working when you want, however you want, right? That's the trade-off, but it is 24/7. But after all of this, if you're still excited to get onto OnlyFans and make crazy amounts of money, that's great. You're already ahead of everyone else. But you're still gonna make a fuck ton of mistakes because everyone does. That's why I've made this video to check out the most common mistakes that new creators make so you can avoid them.